I think the sort of short-term goal is making sure that businesses, especially in the visitor economy, can survive during this period. And I think it's our job to make sure that we support those businesses and our partners to keep going and making sure that we can do everything we can.
You guys, I have been working on something for the last 6 months that has been such a giant project, but I'm so proud of it. I'm excited to announce that I've just released my book. It's called Touch Points, and it's the Destination Marketer's Guide to Brand Evaluation and Enhancement. And it is a comprehensive guide for destinations to look at their brand, evaluate what you've done, and make a very clear and detailed plan of action of how to fix it. And look, I'm biased, right? Because I wrote it, but I think it's so good. I think it's a great guide, and I'm really, really happy with how it turned out. And I wanted to tell you guys about it. It's available on Amazon. Search Touch Points by Adam Stoker, and you'll be able to get that book for your destination. And I think it's going to be, especially for anyone that is trying to look at their brand holistically, this is the book for you. So check it out. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Destination Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, Adam Stoker. I'm excited to be with you today. We've got a special guest for you, not here in the United States. He's actually from Liverpool. His name is Stefan Price. And Stefan, welcome to the show.
Hello, thank you for having me. I feel quite honoured to be the first English guest, I believe.
You're our first English guest, and it's going to be good to get your perspective. You know, we're all navigating this coronavirus situation, and we know how it affects us in our own spheres. It'll be really interesting to see how it affects you over in England and the similarities and differences between how we handle it. So it'll be fun to do that today.
Yes, definitely. I've seen a lot of every country is battling the same sort of battle, but a different strategy, I think, across every single sector. So it's really interesting to see how different nations are coming together to beat this pandemic.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, before we get too far down the road, we've got a couple icebreaker questions we want to ask you. So first of all, tell me, what is your dream destination? If you could go anywhere in the world, where would it be?
It's such a tough question. It's like I always say, I never ever have favourites of things. It's usually a top two or a top five or something. But there is definitely one place in the entire world I've loved since I was a child, and that is Canada.
Canada.
Out of all the places, it is definitely Canada, and specifically Toronto. And there's a very, very strange, not a strange reason as such, but a very coincidence, shall we say, of why it is Canada. And it was a good maybe 5 or 6 years ago now. I come across a tourism video that was produced by Explore Canada, I think it was called at the time, or Keep on Exploring Canada, and it was just a montage of user-generated content that was like 3 minutes long, and I just fell in love with the place since then.
Really? So have you been researching Toronto and learning more ever since?
Yeah, definitely. Like I am, as I'm sure we'll find out throughout this episode, I'm very much a city boy. I love all types of cities of all shapes and sizes. But there's something about Toronto that it looks and acts like a big city, but I feel like it's got such a community and a close knit sort of spirited vibe and feel to it, which is what I love about Liverpool, which we'll go on to later on, I'm sure. But I feel like it would be a home from home for me.
Yeah.
And yeah, and every time I see a photo of it, I just think that is one day I have to try and go there.
Well, I've actually seen a lot of Toronto's marketing materials, and I've got to say they do a great job. And now it's fun I need to get somebody from Toronto on the show so we can tell them that their advertising is working in Liverpool.
It definitely is working, and whoever does their commissioned photography definitely does a great job. Because even the minute you go onto their website, it's just so striking, which is good to see.
Great. And is the trip on the roadmap? Are you going in the next couple of years? Is this you think it's going to take a while to get there? What's your plan?
It's definitely on the roadmap. Depending on how quick that is, who knows? That is anybody's guess, but it's definitely somewhere I'd like to go sooner rather than later. And Yeah, sort of, North America and the Americas as a whole is one part of the world which I just absolutely adore. And I have a saying, so a lot of people in from the UK and Europe tend to go on a lot of European holidays because it's quick, it's easy, and we have freedom of movement and all those sorts of things. But I always do the opposite and say for every European holiday I could go on, I'd rather save that money and put it towards a bigger holiday, such as going to America or elsewhere. So it's definitely on the cards for me. And as I say, sooner rather than later, hopefully.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe Toronto is listening and we can get a fam tour out of this. That would be
Maybe
great, right?
Maybe I'm always up for a fam trip. Unfortunately, I haven't managed to do one internationally yet. But yeah, I'm working on it.
Great, great. Well, let's talk about places you've been then, Stefan. What's your favorite place you've ever visited?
Yeah, definitely. Again, another tough question because favorite is such a big word, and I'm quite lucky because I'm only 21, which a lot of people find quite surprising working in destination marketing.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the same in America or whatnot, but it tends to be an older generation who, well, not even an older generation, but late 20s, early 30s who work in this industry. And whenever I tell people that I'm only 21, they think, "Oh wow, how?" Which again, I'm sure we'll come on to. But as part of that, I've travelled to quite a few places. As I say, my favourite of all time has to be America, and I've visited nowhere near as many places as I would like to. But New York was my most recent trip, so I visited there in November.
Okay.
That was as magical as always. That was my second trip. I have been to Miami and Orlando as well, which were very interesting places. But as I say, I'm a city type of person, so I love cities, and I can't think of a better country in the world than America to provide that sort of trip. But also, weirdly, for my age as well, I'm sure I don't know if you'd agree or others may disagree, is I've actually been on two cruises as well so far.
Okay.
One was around the Bahamas and one was around the Caribbean. And they were just, I don't know if you've ever been on a cruise yourself, but it's a totally different type of holiday, but in all the right ways. I'm very much a cruise ship fan.
Yeah, so I've been on 2 cruises to the Mexican Riviera, and the thing that I loved about it is probably what most people think that they would hate, and that's the fact that I had no phone service, and on the ship, they've got I found myself playing bingo and going to watch The Magician and doing all these things that I would never do unless I was confined to a cruise ship. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, me too. And the big selling point of cruise ships is you can wake up in a new destination every day, and that's great. But for me, it's the actual ship. I just there's something about walking on top deck with a drink in hand, and as you say, going to the art auctions. I don't know a single clue about art, but on a cruise ship, everybody becomes art masters, and as you say, playing bingo and everything else. It's far too much fun. For me. And as I say, I think my goal in life has always been to persuade people that they should go on a cruise because they don't know what they're missing. And I'm slowly but surely getting there with friends and family.
Okay, which cruise was better, the Bahamas or the Caribbean?
Oh, it was a difficult one. Both of the destinations, I honestly could not hand on heart to tell you which one was better. The thing that made the decision for me was the type of ship. So they were both Royal Caribbean, which is
Okay.
a great favourite of mine. Just because the branding and the whole brand narrative and their unique selling points really sort of live with me and that sort of they resonate with me. So I love them, and I don't think I'd ever attempt to go with another cruise line. I think once you've chosen your one, people sort of tend to stay with them throughout life. Don't know if that's just me or whatever. But yeah, so one of them was Oasis of the Seas, which is I think it's still one of the top five biggest ships. And correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not too sure, but it is one of the biggest ships out there. And then the second one was Anthem of the Seas, which is still a huge ship, but nowhere near as big as Oasis. And Oasis was the one I went on first. So to go from this huge floating mini city to then go on Anthem, it was like I felt like I was sort of stuck in a suitcase. I was like, there's not enough room. It's a huge ship. I think I had a slice of the good stuff a little bit too early. But if I had to say on top, probably Caribbean, just because we went to some beautiful places, St. Thomas, Jamaica, and I think Mexico was on the cards for that one as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty special.
Well, sounds amazing. Okay, I think you and I could probably talk travel for a long time, but I think our listeners
Hmm.
are ready to get into the meat of it. So, tell me a little bit. I mean, you said you're 21 and working in destination marketing. I find that fascinating because you're right. You are younger than most of the people that I run into in the
Hmm.
industry, and you made a great save when you said it's the older generation. Well, wait, no, like late 20s, early 30s. That way we didn't offend the next generation up, so it's good that you brought that back. But tell me a little bit about your background and how you got into tourism.
Yeah, so as I say, I'm 21 currently, and I've been in my current role now for 2.5 years. So I think I was about 18 when I started, just maybe nearly 19, which feels like it was about 10 years ago. It's gone so quickly. But my route to tourism and sort of destination marketing as a whole was not as simple as it sort of seems. I never understood what destination marketing was. I never knew tourism marketing was a thing until I actually found this job and applied for it. Um, so I went a little bit of a different route to most people, especially in the UK anyway. Typically, you go to high school, then on to college, and then university, and get yourself a degree, and then go out into the big wide world, and find your dream career. After high school, which is age 16 here in the UK, I should have gone on to college, which is where I would be until I was 18, which is 2 years. But one summer after I finished school, I just thought to myself, I don't think the whole university degree style thing is for me. Um, I just don't see myself sitting behind a desk all day and writing essays and all the rest of it. I just sort of want to get out there and start working. So we have a scheme here in the UK called apprenticeships, which I'm not too sure if that's the same in the US. But that allows you to get a full time job while studying at the same time. So my apprenticeship was in digital marketing, working for a digital marketing agency based in Liverpool. And I was there for a couple of years. And then once I'd finished that, I randomly one day, as I'm sure we all have, I was Googling marketing jobs near me, marketing jobs Liverpool, digital marketing jobs, not really knowing what sort of job I wanted or what industry. And then I came across a job advert for Marketing Liverpool, which is the DMO for the Liverpool City region. And it just spoke about basically your job role would be to promote this city around the world. And something sort of clicked with me, and I thought, wow, that sounds really interesting. Let's give it a go. So fast forward 2.5 years later, and here I am.
That's awesome. And what role are you in now, Stefan?
So I actually started the company as a digital marketing assistant, and then worked my way up to be digital marketing executive. So it's at the end of the day, it's just a job title. The roles are not too dissimilar, but it's just sort of the next chain up really. So my role is to look after all our digital activity, along with our digital manager and some other people in the team.
Great. And I'm guessing, your strategy, tactics, everything has changed over the last 30 days.
Oh, completely. We were up until the end of February. We were working on launching a new campaign this year, which I'll go into later, I'm sure. But yeah, I think
Yeah.
overnight it just completely turned itself upside down, and we were no longer following the usual road we would have.
Well, I guess before we dive into the tactical and strategy execution that you're working on right now, just tell me a little bit about Liverpool as a destination. Tell me kind of the things that you're promoting and what you have to work with there in Liverpool.
Yeah, sure. So, a lot of people I speak to in a lot of, my day-to-day job, I say I've got it quite lucky because a lot of people know Liverpool locally, nationally, and internationally. All I have to do is say the word Liverpool, and instantly it's, oh, home of the Beatles, home of Liverpool Football Club, and, a load of other different things which we're famous for. So that makes it a little bit easy, but it also provides a lot of difficulties because we're not all about those major things. There's a lot more to Liverpool than the Beatles and Liverpool Football Club, although they are very important. Um, so Liverpool, yeah, it's a city based in the north of England, around 2 hours from London by train, so not too far away from the capital at all. We have about 64 million visitors to the Liverpool City region each year, which is
That's
growing.
a lot.
Yeah, grows year on year. Since we were European capital of the culture in 2008, our tourism industry has rocketed, and as I say, when I speak a little bit more about Liverpool later on, I don't blame the people for coming to visit us because there's just so much to do. Like every destination, of course, we all have our own unique selling points, but there's just something special about Liverpool, I think, which hopefully comes across, to your listeners. Just a few headline facts. So we're a UNESCO City of Music. We're a designated World Heritage Site. We're the fifth most visited destination for leisure visitors in the UK. And one that that I always find fascinating is that we've got more museums and galleries than any other city outside of London, which is pretty impressive for a city.
Yeah.
A lot we really pride ourselves on our galleries and museums, which is nice to see. So that hopefully paints a little picture of sort of the headline figures of Liverpool as a destination in numbers. Um, but Liverpool as a place, it it's hard to explain unless you feel it. A lot of people say they read things about Liverpool, they see things about Liverpool, and they think, "Oh, that sounds good. That sounds nice. I could do a city break there or a holiday or whatnot." And then they actually come and visit us, and they're like, "Wow, I knew it was good, but I just didn't think it was this good." Which hopefully goes a little way of explaining just the sort of vibe and feel of the city. And I think an important note to make is that we're a walkable city. Now, not a lot of places can say that, so you can get from one end of the city centre to the other end in a 30-minute walk. And on that
Okay.
walk, you could pass through a World Heritage Site to a large outdoor shopping centre known as Liverpool One. You could then walk past our nightlife scene at Concert Square, Seal Street, and then end up at St George's Hall, which is a huge listed building in the city centre. So no matter what you're looking for or what you want, it's all within walkable distance, which I think is a key thing for destinations now. As I'm sure you know, and a lot of listeners do, things like carbon emissions and green tourism, it sort of plays in our favour because you don't need to get taxis or buses or anything everywhere.
Right.
It is very much everything on your doorstep sort of thing.
Well, and as much as, travelers say they want adventure, it's amazing how convenience plays such an important role in in a traveler's
Hmm.
decision making. So yeah, I love that you have a walkable city. I think that's a really unique thing, especially for a city of your size that gets the amount of traveler pressure that you do.
Oh yes, definitely. And as I say, again, we're not going into sort of the geographical and political side of things. Liverpool is a city, and then around us we have what's known as the Liverpool City region, which is made up of a number of areas such as Southport, which is a seaside town, Wirral, which is over the River Mersey. We've got outside the Liverpool City region, we've got a place called Chester, which is a real historical um, city, and then not about an hour drive away, we've got Wales, Northern Wales, which is a fabulous place full of mountains and the great outdoors.
Yeah.
So although we've got the city, which is brings in the majority of our visitors, it's very very easy to dispense yourself and visit all these amazing places. And that's one thing about Liverpool as well. We have this saying where we're probably one of the only cities in the world where you can park a cruise liner right in the middle of all the action. There's no tender boats, there's no ports half an hour outside the city where you have to get bussed in. You literally arrive on our waterfront, jump off the ship, well, not jump, step off the ship, and you are literally in the middle of it all. So it's quite nice to be able to promote that style of destination, but also work with our other partners to say, if you want to visit our city for a day, that's great. But then the next day, you may want to have a relaxation overnight stay in Wales. Well, that's great. You can hop on the train or the coach or whatever, and it's easy to get to.
Wow. Okay. Liverpool is climbing up my list here. I appreciate you giving us kind of that outline, and I think the thing that I'd like to discuss next is just, we've all, and I'm going to say we being here in the U.S. because that's from the perspective that I see
Hmm.
it from, right? The last 30 days feels like we've all lived about 4 or 5 lifetimes, and I'm sure you feel the same way. But give me kind of when the coronavirus situation got real for you and your team at Liverpool,
Hmm.
and what the last month and a half or so has looked like for you.
Yeah, so just before I jumped on to speak to yourself, I just thought, do you know what? I'm going to search my emails to see when I got the very first mention of coronavirus, the very, very first time. And it was the 28th of January. I got an email
Okay.
from Visit Britain, which is our national tourism board. And it was just, a very not light-hearted, but it was very minimal email, and it just said, this situation is happening around the world. It could be pretty bad. Let's start plans now, and let's see what happens. So that was the very first time, obviously minus the news and whatnot. That was the first time it sort of crossed my mind that actually this may be, a global sort of issue, and it may actually affect my day-to-day job. So that was the end of January. February was pretty steady. It was slowly climbing more up and up and up people's agendas, and the fact that it was starting to spread around the world sort of, I think, caused a bit of nervousness. But as you say, it was more so in early to middle March when we thought actually this is a real situation that is happening now. But luckily for us in the Liverpool City region, we jumped on it very early. So we were making sure that we were following all the latest updates from government, from Visit Britain, the news, to make sure that we were early on in the planning stages of things. So we knew that a lockdown, for example, may be imminent. We didn't know how soon or if it had happened at all, but at least we could get the conversations and the plans in place ready to make sure that we were as ready as can be. And I don't think you ever can be 100% ready, but you can definitely do things to to try and prepare yourself a little bit. So I think that was invaluable to making sure that we were in the best position we could be to sort of to weather this storm.
Well, I'm going to ask you from a digital marketing standpoint. As these events started to get more real, and it was early March, and you said, okay, this is going to really impact us. I think even though, and once again, I'll tell you from my perspective, I don't
Hmm.
have the world perspective, but when President Trump said we're no longer going to allow travel from Europe, with the exception of I think Britain was actually one of the exceptions.
Yes.
And they said, that they're not going to allow that anymore. That's when I realized, oh my gosh, this is going to cripple the industry. And so, what digital marketing changes did you make, and when?
Yeah, so I think our team. I think there's about nearly 30 of us, all doing loads of different things, from travel trade to digital to PR. But I think the digital team played and still do play a really important part because we were already sort of 50% there. So all these great initiatives, which I'll talk about later on, that we're doing now, we already had the skill set, and we already we'd spoken about these things before. And we live and work in a digital age, so it was, I think, our team were best placed to deal with the crisis. So to be honest, we didn't. There's no rule book for this type of scenario, and there's no guidebook that you can pick up and write and say, right, this is what we're going to do. But we all sort of sat down and said, right, we don't know what is about to come our way, but we know it's not going to be great. So what can we do? How can we pool our resource and our skill set together? And to paint a little picture, there's three of us in our digital team who look after a number of different social media accounts and websites and whatnot. So we're not a huge team by any stretch of the imagination, but we're not a tiny team. So that it's got its ups and its downs. But I think the first thing that we done was we sat down and said, okay, during this crisis, sort of what do we need to do, and who do we need to be talking to. So my role is quite unique in that I work across our sort of B2B and B2C side of things. So our Visit Liverpool brand, that is talking to consumers, But then our Marketing Liverpool brand is talking to our partners and our members who, allow us to do our job. And then we've also got business tourism as well, which I sort of play a role in on the digital side of things. So it was understanding that we've got these three totally different audiences that we need to speak to. So what can we sort of do to make sure that we're one step ahead of the game? So I think the very first thing we done was we just had a brainstorming session. It's the simplest thing sometimes in these situations that have the best outcomes.
Yeah.
So you can. It's not my job to put overarching strategies in. More of the senior team done that, and they're being implemented. But on the ground, it was, let's just get together, let's sit down, and let's say, what software have we got now that we can utilize. So, for example, Typeform is a system that we use to send out things like
Typeform,
surveys.
is that what you said?
Yeah, Typeform. So it's, you imagine
Okay.
your bog standard survey. You have to keep clicking next every few questions, and it looks pretty dull and grey. Typeform allows you
Uh-huh.
to create really interactive surveys, quizzes, feedback forms. It's really, really good and really useful, and not too expensive.
Okay.
It's really interactive. I definitely it's worth checking that out. So we thought, okay, we've got Typeform. That is a great platform that we can utilize. Let's keep that to one side. What can we do with that? We've got a great following on social media across all our different channels. We're definitely going to have to utilize that because we know that we're going to have to keep talking to people. Although we can't encourage people to come and visit us, we can still inspire them about what they can do in future. Which again I'll talk about a bit later on about our strategy. But as I say, it was just getting together and sort of sitting down and thinking, what can we do? And again, at this point, so early to mid March, we didn't really know what we could do because still didn't know the situation. Was it going to be a total lockdown? Was it not? Were we going to be working in the office? Were we going to be working from home? So it was just sort of doing worst case scenarios and best case scenarios, and just coming together with a few different ideas.
Great. Great. Okay. And then, did you at any point shut down your direct response advertising or did you just scale it back?
So luckily, the way we work is we work on campaigns. So we just had our Christmas campaign, which is Christmas in Liverpool, which featured, billboards. We had a TV advert, social media advertising, the full thing, and that finished in early January. And we were actually in the planning stages for a campaign that we run called Liverpool Do It Your Way, which allows people to use an itinerary builder on our website.
Okay.
But again, it's not your average itinerary builder. You choose your itinerary based on your moods and emojis. So if you're feeling excited or if you're feeling adventurous, you slide these sliders, and then we will present to you an itinerary that you can come and visit Liverpool with. So we had done the first phase of that last year, a year ago, this month really. So we were planning to do phase two this year. And work was going on behind the scenes. So we were trying to find models for our photo shoots, and we were getting copy together for the website and whatnot. So we were in a lucky position that we didn't actually have any major campaigns happening at the time. We just had our normal social media ads and stuff running. We had influencer trips and journalist trips booked in. So luckily for us, we didn't have to, at the 11th hour, we didn't have to start cancelling all sorts of advertising contracts or anything like that, which is a good situation to be in, I suppose. So yeah.
Okay. All right. I like it. It kind of was fortunate that you guys were between campaigns at the time. Let's talk a little bit now about recovery.
Mhm.
Tell me, you said that you guys have had a lot of brainstorming sessions, a lot of planning, and you've come up with something that it sounds like you're ready to share with us. I'd love to hear what your recovery efforts are going to look like.
Yeah, so recovery. I think it's never too early to start talking about recovery, and I know every destination around the world is doing that. Because once this is all over, it's going to be everyone in talking to the same people. So it's what does that recovery plan look like, and how is it going to work? Um, so as I say, my day to day job is predominantly digital. So I don't have a whole oversight of what the recovery plan looks like, but I know at a senior level on our in our team, the meetings have been happening since day one. But more so in the past couple of weeks, they've really ramped up with other partners, so like the local council, the local growth partnership, and various other stakeholders and partners to actually understand sort of what is the recovery plan going to be. And again, I don't know the situation in every country, but I know the UK, we're still very much in the middle of this sort of pandemic. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, never mind in a week, 2, 3, 4 weeks' time. So I think it's a bit too early to comment on actually what the recovery plan looks like. And that is only because I don't think we've actually pinpointed what that will look like yet. Again, because, will a lockdown last 4 weeks? Will it last another 6 weeks? Will tourism businesses not be able to open until later on? It's pretty difficult to sort of pinpoint. But I think the sort of short-term goal is making sure that businesses, especially in the visitor economy, can survive during this period. And I think it's our job to make sure that we support those businesses and our partners to keep going and making sure that we can do everything we can. So not so much recovery, but sort of what we can do right this second, today, tomorrow, and next week to make sure that we still champion our partners. Um, because I think the recovery plan as well, it's a conversation for whole destinations to have. It's not just one person at the top of an organization. It's different businesses and different sectors are going to have different needs. So it'll be interesting to sort of see what those businesses' needs are and how that recovery plan sort of feeds into our own recovery plan, but also for the country, because I'm sure it's a huge conversation that is going to happen nationally, if not internationally, which will be interesting to see. So yeah, I can't sort of give any indications of what that plan looks like. All I know is that it's being worked on, and a piece of advice I give to anyone listening is start preparations now before it does get too late, because you never know when this epidemic may end. You never know what is going to happen in the next few weeks. But as long as you start the conversations now and start gathering feedback from your businesses, from your partners, from locals, you'll be in a much better position than waking up one day and thinking, oh God, what are we going to do next week now that travel's allowed again? So that would probably be my one piece of big advice on that.
Tell me a little bit about, looking at how you're taking care of your stakeholders. You mentioned making sure that your businesses survive within your destination and things like that. What are you actively doing as a destination to take care of those stakeholders?
Yeah, so as a team, we've all got different roles to play and all got different things that we need to be getting on with and to support our partners and businesses across the city region. And as I say, my role is digital, so pretty important one, because need to continue to communicate with them and make sure that they know we're still here. So working with our local hotels, restaurants, bars, attractions, whoever they may be, and there's a whole load of them. We have over 500 partners that
Wow.
make up our DMO, which is pretty big. And that could be anything from a single tour guide to an international hotel chain. It really does vary. So we're working with them to make sure that they know that we're in the crisis together. It's not them on their own. We're literally all in this together. So starting off at the top, so at a senior level, we're working to make sure that local businesses get the government support that's available. So we've been lobbying governments as well as other partners to make sure that things like loans and grants and stuff are part of the support available right now. Um, because as I say, we need to make sure these businesses survive to ensure that we have got a recovery plan. So yeah, at a senior level, as I say, we're making sure that we not only lobby government to make sure the support is there, but make sure that businesses take it up, because sometimes we've got a human instinct. I think to get overwhelmed by things. So governments are announcing new support schemes on almost a daily basis, and sometimes it can be a bit overwhelming. What is available? What do I qualify for? Can I apply for this? Can I apply for that? So what we're trying to do is to take all that information and put it in layman terms and make sure that the businesses that we work with are accessing the support that they so rightly deserve. And as long as we're doing that, we can make sure we know that they're in the best position to get through this storm. So that's at a senior level, which I think again a lot of destinations are doing. We're sort of being the middlemen in government and a local level, which is good to see. But then also, as I say, actual practical things we've done. So we've created a coronavirus hub, on our website, which partners can go to. They can get all the latest information, all the links to different webinars, grants, a load of information. It's a simple URL. It's our website /coronavirus. It couldn't be any easier to
Okay.
remember. So we've always made sure that that needs to be so simple and so easy to access. And it's there 24/7 for them to look at. We used to send out email communications to our partner database once every 2 weeks. We found that was quite a good consistency to have. We've now changed that to weekly because we know the
Yeah.
information is changing, on a daily basis. But we need to get that balance right. We can't be emailing them every single day with information because it just gets spammy and it gets lost. So we decided, I think every Thursday that we send our email communications out, and again that it just includes information on practical support, and as well as social media. We're constantly keeping that updated. But one sort of thing I think unique to us is that, as well as all this great business support and information available, we're quite known for being personable and approachable. So one thing that has been my job is to make sure that we're still trying to be like that as much as possible. So we've created some work from home diaries. We've created an infographic on the top tips from working from home. We've been creating video content, speaking to different members of our team and people in the industry locally about their situation and their views for the future. So, we're trying to make sure that people still realize, marketing Liverpool is still here. It's still the same people. We're just working from home, but we're all in this together. And to be honest, the content that we've been creating, such as working from home diaries and infographics, has been really valuable to people. And that's been the key driver to the website. We've seen our stats for things like that completely rocket compared to pages that have just plummeted because people aren't wanting to look at things that they did, a few months ago. So that's on the partnership side, which I think is going quite well so far.
Great, great. Well, Stefan, it's great to chat with you about this and to hear about what you're doing on the other side of the ocean here to deal with the exact same challenge. We're kind of all in this together, even though you're there and we're here. We're all everything you're saying. We feel like we're going through the same exact thing, and so it's good to hear some of the things that you're doing. One of the things that you mentioned is this itinerary builder,
Hmm.
and it's a little bit outside of the coronavirus situation, but it's live on your site, right?
Yeah, so it is live. So last year, we decided to launch it as part of a multi-year campaign, but it is live on the website for people to look at. And if you get any time, not being biased, I definitely check it out because personally, I don't think it's something that's been seen in the industry before. Choosing an itinerary based on your mood, um,
Yeah.
and we find it to work quite well.
Well, that's exactly why I wanted to go back to it. It sounds like a very unique thing that you guys have done with that. So I'm wondering, you're a member of the Destination Marketers LinkedIn group. I'm
Hmm.
wondering if you would be willing to post a link to that in the Destination Marketers LinkedIn group so that people can go check it out and kind of visualize what you're talking about when you talk about a mood-based itinerary builder. I think that's a really unique and interesting concept.
Yes, definitely. And I'm so happy I came across the LinkedIn group specifically because I know that I'm borderline geek when it comes to destination marketing. Whenever I see a good idea, I love to share it with people and I love to talk about it. And something that we've got internally, we've got a Trello board currently, which is just called Inspiration. And we take anything, basically any content that we see around the world from all these destinations and just plonk it in this Trello group.
Uh-huh.
And it just allows our team to see and see what other places are doing, and not to copy or to steal things, but to actually get some inspiration because sometimes the best ideas come from seeing another destination and you putting your own spin on it or creating a totally new idea. And truth be told, I think we got this idea from we were looking at Spotify one day and we realized that there was playlists based on your mood. So someone on our team said that could be a great idea for an itinerary. Why can't you choose your itinerary for a holiday based on your mood? So I think that is where the idea came from. And it was quite a mammoth project, but to see it in all its glory now is quite great. So yeah, no, definitely, I will definitely share that.
Yeah, great. And it proves that inspiration can come from just about anywhere,
Hmm.
you know,
You never know where it comes from.
from Spotify to
Hmm.
destination
It's a
marketing.
crazy old world, but it just goes to show that you can never stop learning. And I always put a bit of time away each day to just research what other places are doing, because as you say, you never know where that next piece of inspiration could come from.
That's right. That's right. Okay. Well, Stefan, it's been great to have you today, and I appreciate you taking the time. You know, we've got a pretty significant time difference here, and I appreciate you making arrangements to make it work for us, and to share some of your experiences in Liverpool with us today.
No, definitely. Thank you. It's my pleasure. As I say, when I came across the podcast, I couldn't give up the opportunity to get involved, and I'm looking forward to being part of the community in the future, really, and seeing how together we can all, build better destinations and work together.
Yep. Same to you. We're all in this together, right?
Definitely, and I think I hear that phrase a lot. We're all in this together, and we're all going through the same thing. But it really is true. You're never far away from a helping hand, and I'd always say reach out to people, talk, and get involved because we are all in this together.
Yep. Yep. Great advice. Great advice. Well, it's been great to have Stefan here on the show with us today, and thanks everyone for listening. This has been another great episode of the Destination Marketing Podcast. If you haven't left us a review yet or a rating, make sure you do that, and otherwise, we'll talk to you next week.